Hi friend, this is Kaustav and today we are going to learn about the Xcode and Swift. I have created this particular playlist or you can say that particular learning items because when I started my career as a iOS developer, on that moment I found it's very difficult to find out all the necessary things at the same place, and on that moment my financial condition also was not so good that buy or purchase so many of tutorials at the same time. So because to in future nobody ever face this kind of situation, to resolve this kind of a problem, I am going to deliver this Xcode and Swift related items on this particular playlist. So in today's topic is Xcode and Swift introduction, and over here I am going to deliver Xcode installation, Xcode control, create first project, basic file structure on this particular project, run our first app, and questions. So what it's mean that Xcode installation means that from where you are going to install the Xcode and what is the process, what you need to do the installations. Okay, so the next step is Xcode control, like how to play how to run the Xcode project, where is the which control is placed over there. These are the Xcode control. Create the first project means how you can create your first project, and then there is a basic file structure, like after the project is being created, what is the file structure, which file represents what kind of information, hold what kind of information, for which purpose it's responsible. So these we will discuss these things over here. Then run our first step, like all the previous things are the theoretical part, but if we don't run the applications we don't get the flavor. So for me at least, like it's a very boring and monotonous things to just go through a theoretical part. So we will run our first applications. Then the section is the questions, like over here I don't say anything, you guys have the open forum for the questions, and over there you guys can drop a comment in this particular video, and I will try my level best to give answers all of them. Okay, so let's begin. So our first step is the Xcode installation. Okay, to install the Xcode, first you need to have an Apple account. So to have an Apple account you need to go to the developer.apple.com. Over there you can find this particular screen will started to display, and over there is another icon, there is a link like account. Okay, so click on this particular account, and over here this particular login screen will appear. So those who have the Apple ID, you guys can log in over here, but those who don't have any login create, you can create once from over here. Okay, so this is the form. After you guys fill up this particular form, your Apple ID will be created and you guys can use it. Okay, so after the Apple ID got available, you need to come to the App Store from over here, and you need to log in over here also. As you can see, for me it's being login on the Apple ID. After that you need to search over here Xcode. Okay, as you can see the Xcode came on the search field. So over here is the download button, which is if you click on this particular download button, Xcode will install. If otherwise you guys also can click on this particular Xcode icon and it's going into the details page, and over here you can download the Xcode using this particular icon. Apart from this particular topic, Xcode, though it's displaying a size of 7.6 GB, but when actually it's being installed on that moment, the size of the Xcode increased to almost 24 GB. As you can see over here, it's almost 24 GB. So that's how the Xcode installation is being completed. Okay, so the second part is the Xcode control, like how we are going to use the Xcode. Okay, for that we are going to open the Xcode. Okay, so after the first launch of this particular Xcode, as you can see, there is a three options, like create a new Xcode project, clone an existing project, open a project, or file. So actually what is clone an existing project I will discuss later. Open a project means you guys can open up a local project which is already present on your system, or you guys also can open a file, because it's end of the day editor. Xcode is a editor. Okay, so in our case we are going to create a new Xcode project, so click over here. Okay, from the top we need to select the iOS, since we are going to create the iOS application and app over here, and then click next. Okay, so since it's our first project, we are going to name it as the first project. Okay, then the organization name. So in the organization name, based on the organization name, the bundle identifier will be populated. So what is the bundle identifier and what's its purpose, I will discuss later. So for now, just give a bundle identifier, anything. Since it's a development with Kaustav, that's why I give a DWK. You guys can give ABC also, that's not the matter. Okay, so next the interface is there is a two type of interface is available, SwiftUI and storyboard, but in our case we are going to use storyboard. And two types of language is also over here, one is Objective-C and another one is Swift, so we are going to use the Swift. Use code data, that let it unchecked, because code data is a different topic. When we are going to learn the code data, we will mark it check. And test is also a different topic, so when we are going to learn the test, we are check it. Okay, so just click on the next. So this is the location on the desktop. On the desktop we are going to create the project, but over here as you can see there is another checkbox. Don't check it and create the project. As you guys can see, our first project is created, so our next topic, create first project, is also covered. So the next point is the basic file structure. So over here on the project, if you expand this particular section, you can see these are the different files which is available: appdelegate.swift, scenedelegate.swift, viewcontroller.swift, main.storyboard, assets.exe assets, launch screens.storyboard, and info.plist. So what are these things? So appdelegate is that file responsible for the all app related event. Like if you are working on an app and suddenly call come on your mobile, and when you receive that particular call, your app goes to the background, and after the call you just retrieve the app from the background to the foreground. So that's mean app goes to the background, app came on the foreground. This kind of event we can track using this particular app delegate. Okay, there are so many different kind of events for that, we will discuss later. So scene delegate came on the picture very recent, so we will discuss it later. In the view controller, for the timing, you can say that view controller is the class or that particular thing which actually going to display on the screen. For the timing, you just proceed with that. Later I will discuss in depth. So main storyboard is the section where we are going to design everything. There is a login screen. What is the UI, how the text will going to display, what is the button, the design of that particular button, everything, every single thing we are going to design on this particular storyboard. So in the storyboard there is a couple of control, as you can see previous point, like xcode control. So we are going to cover that control part also over here. Like there in the storyboard there is a couple of control, like this particular panel we can hide unhide using this particular button. Okay, then there is the accessibility button which we are not going to use very recent. This is the theme related things, like dark theme and light theme for that particular purpose. And this is the button for the orientation, like how our app is going to be represented in the landscape and portrait mode. Okay, so this is the landscape mode, this is the portrait mode. Okay, fine. And then after this is the device selection. So over here all kind of devices available, so I prefer to choose the iPhone SE since it's the most small device right now. Since actually I have a understanding, like if a screen or UI is perfectly work on a very small screen, then it will not going to be impact very badly on a large screen. Definitely it going to be impact or break somewhere on the UI for the large screen if you do something wrong, but not that bad, it will truncate entirely. So for this kind of situations, so I prefer to use the iPhone SE. Okay, another few couple of control is like this is the run button over here. This is our project. This is the target. What is target? Like I mean this is our project which we are going to run. It's called the target. Okay, so this is the all the devices which are available to for the run purpose. So currently I am going to use the iPhone SE for our run purpose. Okay, so in the next point there is a run our first applications. Okay, before going there is a assets folder. Over here there is a color and icons, so like we can create our image assets and color assets which are going to be used on our project. And launch screen is that particular screen which we are going to be used in our as a splash screen. Okay, so after the app launch, you touch on an app icon, app getting launched. On that moment, when no login screen, no dashboard screen, nothing is appear, on that moment a particular screen appeared along with a brand name and brand logo. That particular screen is the, and sometimes it's also contain the version number. So this kind of screens is actually called the splash screen. Over here there are a couple of more icon control over here. Or if you click on this particular plus icon, this particular window will appear. This particular tab contain all the control provided by the Apple. like table view, switch, button, label, text field, text view, etc. Okay, then after the image, this particular over here nothing is currently displaying as no image is being added to these particular assets, but when we are added any image on this particular assets, those images will start to display over here. This is the color, same applicable for the color also. When we add any color on the assets, it start to display over here. This is the tab for the predefined image which is provided by the Apple. So this is the tab which represents all the Apple provided icons which we can use in our project to reduce the third-party uses of icons. Okay, so for now we just place a label. So for that we need to go over here, click this particular tab and drag this particular label over here. Okay, so it's simple, just placing a label. And then after we need to change the text. So for that, over here as you can see, this is the text, and over here we need to change this particular text. So I am going to put development with co-stop and enter. Okay, so as you can see the text is being changed, so I just placed it over here and give it to run. As you can see the building is starting. See, the screen is get launched, the nose content is displaying, it's called splash screen. Okay, so our app get launched, and as you can see this development with co-stop started to display over here. So there is another issue, like since splash screen is not identified properly, so what I am going to do, I am going to change the color of this particular splash screen. So for that you just click on this particular view, and over here as you can see this background, and over here you just click on the any red color or any color whatever you prefer, just change it and just run it once again. During the installation you get these kind of animations, and as you can see the splash screen with red color appeared, then after our app get launched. Okay, so this is the concept. That's all guys for today. We will see on the next session with a new item. Till then, if you like my content, then definitely like, share and subscribe. Until then, have a nice day. Goodbye.